Drivers in Northeast Wisconsin will start to see more construction along I-41 this week as the DOT now begins bridge preservation project on several flyover ramps in Brown County. Samantha Cavalli joins us in the studio to explain what drivers can expect and why the DOT says this work is needed. Sam.
All right, Cami, instead of telling everyone about these upcoming closures, let's show you exactly what ramps that we're talking about here. Behind me here, this is the flyover ramp. Just behind me here, I'll step out here as our drone is just panning over. This is actually what we're talking about here. This is I-41 southbound to Wisconsin 29 in Howard. That's the first to close tomorrow, and that preservation project begins, and that's one of many in the next several months that is going to be facing a facelift. And even though this stretch of I-41 was rebuilt within the last decade or so, WisDOT says this new project is needed to keep those bridges in good shape. WisDOT expects it to reopen by the end of the week, but that could all change depending on the weather. Joshua Lang, the WisDOT Northeast Region Project Manager, says crews are replacing a worn surface layer on several flyover ramps. He says the bridges themselves are still in good condition, but years of heavy traffic and Wisconsin weather have worn down the overlay on parts of the ramps.
It's a preservation project, the purpose, so the thin polymer overlay is starting to wear that was on there. That's a thinner overlay that we use on a lot of bridge decks here with the high traffic and the weather. That overlay is really seeing a lot of wear and tear. There's some of these flyovers, the high traffic ones, dual lanes are really seeing that wear off with drivers, so this will remove that.
Now, 1 week from today, the I-41 northbound on-ramp from Wisconsin 54, that's Mason Street, will also fully close. That closure is expected to last for 3 weeks, weather permitting as well. We'll talk more about that closure coming up tonight at 5. Cami?